On an economy, like the economy of Uganda, there are two things we look at. Yeah, number one is the actual impact of incidents. Yeah, when incidents happen, one of three things can happen. A company can lose money, that's financial loss, and if you look at the statistics for Uganda, cyber incidents have been increasing year on year about 64%. Yeah, actually, it's the percentage is higher than that of cases reported with Uganda police. So this is financial loss. The second impact is data loss. Yeah. So there are cases where cyber attackers or perpetrators go after institutions for the purpose of stealing sensitive information, or what we call personally identifiable information. And this information can then be used to commit other crimes like identity theft. So that's one of the possible impacts on our economy. The fact that stolen data can be used to commit other crimes that make it difficult for organizations to depend on identity data available in the market. Yeah, and this identity data could be is useful in so many different ways. Essential organizations depend on identity data, for example, to create accounts for customers, to give customers loans, etc. So if we can't place a reliance on identity data available in the market on the basis that most of this data has been stolen from institutions by cyber hackers, then it becomes difficult for the economy to thrive in several sectors. Then the other but equally important thing is sometimes the perpetrators go after organizations for the sole purpose of disrupting their systems. Yeah, if the system, for example, it's an ATM network that was supposed to be used by customers to draw money from the ATMs, attackers can bring the network down. Yeah, if it's an internet banking website or app that is supposed to allow customers to transact and originate payments, attackers can go after the platform for the sole purpose of bringing it down. They could bring it down by crashing systems, or they could bring it down by encrypting data, yeah, and rendering it unusable for the business. In attacks that we call ransomware attacks. When that happens, it means number one, the company can't offer the service it intended to offer to its customers. Number two, it means that customers cannot go on with their daily lives. Yeah, for example, your lifestyle involves drawing money first thing in the morning to go and buy stock for your business. Yeah, but you are unable to access banking services simply because the bank has been disrupted by a cyber attack. Yeah, that is lost productivity. Yeah, because you are unable to run your business during the course of that day. Yeah, it also of course means that if you bank your returns at the end of that day, you are unable to access the banking services to bank your returns at the end of that day simply because the banking systems are unavailable because maybe of a cyber attack. So that also of course creates an impact of lost productivity. Yeah, so those are the key three things I can point out. The fact that companies will lose revenue or finances, yeah, in cases of financial impact. Companies could lose data, yeah, that causes loss of trust, yeah, that quickly cascades or spirals in the ecosystem. The third is loss of functionality or availability that impacts productivity in the economy. Essentially, if you define cyber security as any measures you take, yeah, to reduce risks associated with being connected to the internet, there are several things that you should do. And if we decide to look at it in broad terms, there's responsibility that belongs to the government in terms of governance and protecting the critical infrastructure. Yeah, critical infrastructure encompasses several things that include things like telecommunication networks, power grids, financial systems, etc. Yeah, and even government systems. Yeah, there is the responsibility of experts like myself, where we have to research and innovate. Yeah, and bring affordable mitigation measures to the market. Yeah, that several organizations can then uptake to be able to improve their security postures. Then there is the responsibility of the community. Yeah, where the community has to be aware. Yeah, that's number one, the awareness. To be aware about the danger of cyber risks. And then to be able to work with the experts, work with the government, etc. To to number one, report these incidents when as and when they happen. Yeah, maintain good cyber hygiene. Yeah, and then implement these mitigation measures that I've been talking about. And I want to go to a micro level. The micro level is really you as a person in the community. What can you do to safeguard yourself against cyber risks, or safeguard your family against cyber risks? With the recent proliferation of technology, the phones, the internet in our homes, yeah, we are inevitably also connected to the internet all the time. Yeah, and we are handing these phones to our children, some of whom are minors, yeah, who can actually be targeted. So among the things you can do, number one, make sure that your phone is protected in terms of access control. Yeah, make sure that for someone to access your phone, for example, they require biometric authentication, or they require to supply a biometric credential. It could be your facial ID, it could be your fingerprint. Yeah, and the same applies to all at home. Make sure it got access control. Yeah, that's very important. Where you can put capability that restricts what your children can access on the internet or on your phone, put those restrictions in place. They come in several flavors. Most of them are called parental guidance control capabilities or software. Activate those. It's very important. Then limit the information you share. Do not, for example, everyone tells us do not share your PIN. Don't share your PIN for your ATM card. Don't share your PIN for your mobile money account. Don't share your PIN for your apps on your phone.
All right, now let's get back to the SMB updates this morning as we get the UBOS response to the World Bank, which has actually seen a road to the middle income status controversies. The executive director of the Uganda Bureau of Statistics, Dr. Chris Mukiza, came out to refute the World Bank report that Uganda is still far from the middle income status. And according to the World Bank, the per capita income of Uganda is at $850 for the financial year ending 2022, and contrary to the $1,405 that was stated by President Yoweri Museveni in his State of the Nation address on June 7th. So the UBOS have actually come up with a response to the World Bank, and let's have a detail of this one.
Noted that the overall growth of the financial year 2022 is estimated at 3.7%, leaving Uganda's per capita income estimated at about $850, which is below low middle income status of $1,045 per person, as it has stated by the President of Uganda during the State of the Nation address. While speaking to the media, the Executive Director of the Uganda Bureau of Statistics, UBOS, Dr. Chris Mukiza, therefore refuted the World Bank report, saying that Uganda's economy is doing well and there is no need for an alarm.
The problem with you journalists, you are interested in hearing the foreigners. What the bank has said, and you jump to it. Yes, we shall discuss it. We shall tell you how to have discussed. Because I want to have concurrence with those guys who are running for a meeting. I don't want to release when they say, but this is not what we agreed. We have to agree so that we don't confuse the public, right? You should be in my shoes. We have agreed, but we did not finish the statement. They are running to a meeting. And they have promised that they are also going to review. So we don't want to issue this, then they say no. We have to move together because World Bank country office operates in Uganda. Okay?
However, the World Bank estimated that despite the economic growth, the population also grew at about the same rate, leaving the per capita income stagnant.
So for me, we shouldn't be haggling over these figures. For me, the way I see what is happening, we go to the villages, we are not yet there.
According to the World Bank, Uganda would have attained the low middle income status already if the strong growth rates of 6 to 10% posted between 2021 to 2011 had been maintained.
I think if we go beyond, let us go beyond the figures, because the figures are deceptive, Anybody, somebody will say, this is how we have calculated it. And another person will say, no, if you do this, this is what you get. And you remember way back, sometime back, our economy was rebased. The rebasing is about saying, oh, we didn't include this, we didn't include this figure. They include it and, you get another figure. But nothing on the ground has really changed, So you can change things on paper, but on the ground, things haven't changed. And I think we need, if we want to be really sincere to ourselves, let us look at the UN criteria. Our health sector, is it okay? Our education sector, just going beyond enrollment.
The problem is the people in the lower quantile, the poorest, are many and are young, as you said, youth unemployment. And that's a structural issue. But our unemployment levels are not as bad as those in our counterpart countries or advanced countries. The good news for us is that the majority of these youth we are seeing are in agriculture, and much of their effort is not well documented. They are in informal sector.
According to the latest data from the Uganda National Housing Survey 2019 to 20, the number of people living in an absolute poverty increased from 8 million to 8.3 million between 2016-17 and 2019-20 when the survey was done. This was mainly due to COVID-19 pandemic that had a devastating impact on the economy. Bedson Mumbere, Smart 24 TV, Business Today.
Okay, in that particular perspective, if you're to draw back a little bit, I wouldn't want to leave this to you, but as a Ugandan, in the discussion of when the president says that we are into the middle income status, civil society organization leaders believe we are not yet there. We are still on the journey of heading into that particular one, because according to the World Bank, we are just still on the journey. President says otherwise. But according to a World Bank report, Uganda's per capita income is at $850. And that is contrary to the $1,045 that was stated by President Yoweri Museveni. So the World Bank does predict that there is still a long journey to go and push for this particular situation that we believe is an answer to what we are actually facing as a country. But for that particular one, the ED of the Uganda Bureau of Statistics, Dr. Chris Mukisa, has refuted the report from the World Bank's that Uganda is still far from the middle income status. And precisely when you look at figures, according to him, things are just like the president did reveal, that we're already there in that. But according to Jen Nalunga, when you go to the villages and look at the lifestyle of most of the Ugandans, you will definitely believe that it's still a long journey for most of the Ugandan people to actually focus on building better or getting into that middle income status. But you never go wrong with what the president has to say in that particular perspective. But from that particular view, or from an angle of looking at it from the bank of the World Bank, there is something else that comes on board. So this is what you would definitely want to at least look at it in an analytical way, not critically as it is or as it may seem to be, but trying to look at it in a way that is actually giving you more peace and more space as a Ugandan to continue knowing about things regarding business. Well, from that particular perspective and that particular regard, we would definitely wish that we are into the middle income status. But seemingly, there is something that you would want to at least understand, or how the world is actually moving and how we can be part of this discussion as we go by. But the country is actually still in a recovery process, as we're actually focusing our eyes on the recovery mode and how we're actually going to be recovering by 2024. And hopefully, we hope that the strategies that have been laid by Uganda's government as of now may be a foster for that particular situation. Okay, and it is the second hour of the show, and surely great to be having you this early morning on this particular morning show. Now, with just 24 minutes past the hour of 8 o'clock, we're heading into a break. When I do return, I've got the I've got something from the Ministry of Agriculture, Animal Industries and Fisheries, that is more from the updates. And then also we go and have a look at the press review, got something from the New Vision and the Daily Monitor. And then also we have the SMB no comment, previously called for it was the SMB Inside that was actually looking at the cyber security. But with the no comment, after the break we shall be looking at the brokers, and also our topic of discussion will be focusing more on that particular entity or on that particular report. Thank you very much for being part of the morning show. Stick around with me. I do return with more this morning.